I became depressed. I had lots of girlfriends, and I wanted to be married. Where is God leading me?
Doors would be open to me.
God calling me to be a priest.
It's not a matter of our choosing, it's a matter of discovering the gift that He has planted in our heart.
Follow men and women who have answered the call to consecrated life.
God used me a little bit today to help one person. That's everything.
It's the call of love to love.
Full of joy.
It is a joyful, joyful life.
Bokaret on your Shalom World.
Hello and welcome to a time of excitement and inspiration. I'm Manoj Sunny, and together with Shalom World, we'll take you through the journeys of a group of ordinary people in the Jesus Youth Movement who dared to follow an extraordinary call as a part of the full-time volunteer project. A project that has been instilling the missionary lifestyle in young people for the last 28 years. A project that has put 28 batches of young people, around 2,000 so far, through a 30-day intensive training and placing them in mission centers around the world for a whole year. And that's exactly why they are called God's crazy people. Today, we are going to meet a young lady from New Jersey who had a personal encounter with Jesus in 2007 and took a new turn in her life, influencing many around her and being a light to her friends. She is the daughter of a retired army officer, Govinda Sahu and Meena Sahu, who works as a nurse. She holds a bachelor's in accountancy and a master's in theological studies. She attended the Jesus Youth International Full-Timership Training in Bangkok, Thailand in 2011 and was placed in Haiti for the next 1 year. Today, she lives out her calling in Florida as a parish accountant and serves as a part of the International Council of Jesus Youth Movement. So friends, get set to meet Simi Sahu, God's crazy person for today. Simi, a hearty welcome.
Good to be with you, Manoj. Thank you.
You were the first full-timer placed in Haiti, and that was the beginning of our mission in Haiti. And you were sent there. You were raised in the US, and suddenly you moved to Haiti. And how was the experience, Simi?
Just like any other experience in life, there are mixed experiences. One great grace of being on mission, someone had said during the training, was when you go to the place that you have been sent, God will give you a special love for even every blade of grass that grows there. And you will love that place in a way that you haven't even loved your own father's home. So I definitely experienced that going to Haiti. It felt like I had come to a new home, a home that I didn't know, but God's own people. And I could feel His love for them in my own heart, which was amazing. I'd never felt that in that way. And at the same time, of course, there were also different challenges because language-wise, it wasn't something that I could speak very easily. And also being in a new mission country where things weren't set up, you also realize how grave the needs are. Their material needs and their spiritual needs are great. So it was also very intimidating. And I also wondered if I had enough faith and strength also. So both of those feelings were there. Yeah.
What are some of the lessons you learned during that year of commitment there?
I was 21 and I'd been praying for 4 years to go to mission. So there was a lot of energy to really go and do something for the Lord. But when I got to Haiti, just seeing the great needs and also the littleness of my own faith, it was a harsh reality to realizing, oh, I don't have all the things that I need to be able to make a huge difference. And I'm a simple person. So I called one of our elders, Sunil, back in the US, and I said, I don't think this is going to work. I'm not capable. I don't even know what to do. And I asked him, what should I do? And he said, go to the chapel, cry, and ask the Lord for souls from him. You don't have to do anything. So actually, one of the first things that I learned was also the primacy of intercession and bringing the needs of the people to the heart of the Father first, and also recognizing that you are not the Savior and you don't have all the things that are needed. But there was actually a very gentle joy and a peace that also came during that time. And also, I learned that it takes time to understand people's heart and their pain. We might have ideas of what we want to give, but the importance of listening and understanding what the people feel, what their experience of life is, how they see the church, what they understand about the Lord. So many things were to listen to the Lord, listen to the people, and making room within our own heart. I had this pressure to think that I needed to do something for the Lord and do something for Jesus Youth. But another beautiful thing that my elder had said was, if you are there, even if you do nothing, Jesus Youth is there. So you are not just there yourself, but in you, Jesus Youth is there, and the church is also there. And everything that you see, Jesus Youth is seeing, and the church is seeing, and the Lord is seeing. So there's so much depth in just the presence that we have in a place where the Lord has called us. And of course, that the doing part is very important, but before that, we have to receive, we have to listen, and we have to be present.
Such a beautiful lesson for the whole life for any person. Simi, I know that you'll have a lot of memorable experiences, okay, of that year you spent there. Can you share just one experience, okay, which is still there in your mind even after 8-9 years?
One of the first things was, seeing the mission was just starting, so we didn't have anything yet, and it was scary to know where to start. So when I'd asked Father Isaiah at the time, he said, you can ask the Lord whatever you want, and you don't have to look at what is there, but you can ask for whatever your heart desires. So a few of the things that I'd asked the Lord, one was, I want the young people from there to be able to go to World Youth Day, just like our youngsters from Jesus Youth in America. I wanted a huge kids camp for the children in the camp there as well, the refugee camp, just like we have in America. And the third thing that I had asked was also that they would have their medical needs met. So it just seemed at that time very crazy desires, and I didn't have the capacity to do any of those things myself. But even by the end of the year, we had our first kids camp there. We had over 120 children. A whole bunch of Jesus Youth came from the US. And we had that and they had the same activities, the same joy that we see here in the US. And then it took a few years, but several people from Haiti were able to come to World Youth Day as well. And right before I had gone, Manoj, I'm sure you remember you had come with a few other people to look at the beginnings of a medical mission. So at that time, I didn't say anything, but I was smiling and laughing because the Lord had heard all of those desires. And I regretted in that moment not desiring more and not asking for more boldly. But maybe that was one of the most beautiful things, because it's not my ability, but the Lord's faithfulness in what we ask for in his name for the good of his people from his own heart.
Praise God. Simi, I have a surprise for you. Joining us now for the Isaiah Birolo, a Scalabrinian priest from Italy who was serving in the Haiti mission when Simi was there. He was accompanying Simi in her walk with the Lord during her time in Haiti. He was a former general superior of the Scalabrinians in Rome and presently serves as a parish priest in Florida. I remember meeting him in Haiti. The first thing I said to myself was, man, you're standing in the presence of a holy priest. Father Isaiah.
When we started to go by car from the seminary to the mission, and we used to do it practically every day. Simi, Jamile, Dara suggested, kind of, a strong suggestion. Why don't we say the rosary as we travel? Because it took us about half hour from the seminary, 40 minutes, half hour, 40 minutes, depending on the traffic. And so we made it to say a rosary, and it became a practice. Every time we got into the car, we started by saying the rosary. I remember also another time when we were going to the city. There must have been some celebration at the cathedral. And in the car there was also Patrick Moynihan, like a deacon, permanent deacon, who was the director of a school there in the area of Port-au-Prince. But he went to the cathedral with us, and also on that occasion, we said the rosary. So another time when we traveled, and he was also in the car again, and he himself said, "Simi, don't we say the rosary now?" Yes, it was a very good practice that I did not keep it up later, but alone it was difficult to say the rosary like this. But it was very, very nice to be able to prepare ourselves for the mission by saying the rosary, asking Our Lady to be with us. So Simi with me, like she was a beautiful, beautiful person that inspired me with her faith, her dedication, wanting to be present and give a good witness of joy with the people, with us. So Simi, now you came there and you dedicated yourself full time. And I know that that was like the beginning of a full-time commitment the rest of your life. Now, who inspired you the most to do this?
Simi, he ended up with a beautiful question. Who was the inspiration? Who inspired you most?
Actually, it's Father Isaiah who inspired us the most. He was in his mid 70s or so when we met him, and he would take the bicycle up, literally riding more than an hour each way every single day to visit people. And he would keep his prayer every single day, 3 times a day. He would pray the breviary, and we would ask him, "Father, why do you pray?" And he also seemed so happy. And every time he spends time with you, you feel that you're the only person that matters to him. So when we asked him, "Father, how is it that you pray so much even after doing so much? Aren't you tired?" He would say, "My prayer is my search for meaning and happiness and strength in life. That's why I pray all these times." And also, it's one thing to see young people with a lot of zeal, but when you see someone in their mid 70s who used to be the superior general of the order, working so humbly, so genuinely, and so simply, it makes you feel that this life of holiness and a life of faith and a life of mission is not just something that will come and go in 2-3 years, but it's something we can commit to for our whole life. So Father Isaiah really opened up a new horizon of what a life of faith can be. And as people get older, most of the times people become tired, they become cynical, they become angry with the world and unable to listen to people. But it seemed that for Father Isaiah, he was becoming more young, more open, more tender as years went by. So, of course, who wouldn't want to be like Father Isaiah? So he's the one that really inspired me during that year. Yeah.
Beautiful. And Father Isaiah was referring about lifelong commitment. Simi, I know that you were designing your occasion and you were in the final stages of taking a decision for a celibate life, a consecrated life. Why? And what makes you, or like what challenges you, what motivates you to opt for such a life?
I think there's probably very ordinary. We all want to be happy. We want to find a life of meaning and fulfillment. And I just knew very clearly I was going to study for my CPA and I was going to work in a Big Four firm. But I knew from interning there that if I left my job there would be 100 people to take my spot there. But I knew from working in my father's house that if I don't take my place in my father's house and work in his field, even if 5 million people come, they can't do my small piece that would be missing. So there's this desire to be known and loved by the Father and to be in his kingdom. And of course, being with Father Isaiah and also other many religious there, I could also see I had many doubts about how can somebody live without the closeness of a spouse, but the closeness of the Lord in the Eucharist and prayer. I I couldn't ask for any more closeness. There was actually no room in my heart to be close to anybody beyond that point in a spousal way. And then, of course, there's also an ordinary desire for having your own children. And I was asking the Lord, how can I give up having my own children? Even at 21, you feel the desire to be a mother. And at that time, actually, I was standing on a field and a little girl just came and ran up without me saying or doing anything. And she just held my leg just very tightly, wanting affection. So I bent down and held her. And something in my heart says, if you want to become the mother of orphans, you have to become barren. And your barrenness in the Lord will become your motherhood. And later on, seeing women like the missionaries of charity taking care of those orphans, I realized, yes, to be with a man and to to bear a child for 9 months and to give birth, of course, those are great privileges that married women have. But actually, even my own mother, I don't just call her my mother because she bore me for 9 months and gave birth to me. I also call her mother because she loved me, she took care of me, and she taught me. So there is, of course, biological motherhood, but that's not all of motherhood. But actually, motherhood is love and being responsible for someone's growth, loving them and seeing them grow up. So the Lord also opened my heart to spiritual motherhood, not as a cheapened form of motherhood, but actually that there are many children that are born that may not have mothers, but in my barrenness in the Lord, that barrenness actually makes for even more children than how many I could give birth to in an ordinary marriage. So the Lord also answered all my questions. It's not that, one day I saw it and everything was clear. I had time and space from the Lord to answer many of the questions, the doubts, the fears that I had. And He answered every single one of them one by one.
What is the message you want to share to the young people of today?
I would like to echo what Pope Francis said in World Youth Day in Brazil. The final field for the World Youth Day had to be closed because of floods, and we were all sitting on the beach by the waves listening to our Holy Father speaking on behalf of Mother Church directly to us. And he said, young people, don't sit on balconies in your home and watch people in the street make history. Get out of your balconies, come down and take part in the streets. So I think as young people, somewhere deep inside, we know that we are called to be actors in history, not just stand around. We may not become very famous. We might not be very charismatic. We might not have stage gifts or something like that. But there's something in our heart that already knows that there are things in this world that need to be put right, that God has a message to say. And sometimes we can be tempted by maybe different people around us, or maybe even people who are older than us, to say, oh, yes, you're just young. It's just something that you're going through. But actually, the Mother Church looks to young people to have that courage and that confidence to really give our life to the Heavenly Father and to not live from the balcony, not watch people make history, not watch people make big decisions for the world, but to take part in history, to be confident that with the Holy Spirit and with being part of the church, that we are called to actually take part in what this world becomes. So my message to young people would be the message of Pope Francis, that we don't have to hide behind our careers. We don't have to hide behind our upbringing. We don't have to hide behind our education. All of these things are meant to make us stronger to do what we're called to do, not to put us in a jail that tells us what our life will be like in the future.
I was thinking of the words of St. John Paul II. He said, what really matters in life is that we are loved by Christ and that we love Him in return. In comparison to the love of Jesus, everything else is secondary. And without the love of Jesus, everything is useless. Simi, may God bestow His favors and graces upon you. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj.
We were talking about a special call. And now we are going to meet a special person. In fact, a very special person who can shed more light on this journey. So here is a special guest for the day, one of the pioneers of the Jesus Youth Movement, a retired professor and father of 3 children who makes his home in India, Chevalier Dr. Edward Aderath.
If you ask me, what are some of the benefits, or what are so many benefits we can talk about? So what are the certain things that I see through this full-timership training. One, full-timership training brought forth a culture of formation, which is integral to Jesus Youth, but then it, in one way, shaped, focused this formation aspect in Jesus Youth movement, and this became a very good model for so many others for how to train missionaries. And many others have imitated this model, but in the movement, this training became a platform where, how to form young people as committed Christians and committed missionaries. It became some kind of a nursery, so a culture of formation developed, one. Two, very excellent leadership came out of it. We often speak of statistical probability. In this training, a few may come out excellent. But here, the fruits were quite high. So many varied leaders, excellent people. After this 1 year's training, all of them, some became priests, some became sisters, a few of them. Others became family people, but all of them made a difference. Almost all of them made a big difference wherever they are. Thirdly, sometimes I think these people became big initiators of movements, missionary endeavors, and so many beautiful things. They became very good initiators. So that was something very beautiful. Young people come here with a deep desire to commit to go as missionaries. This is a very beautiful experience that I think, unlike anywhere else, there is a high level of motivation, which I can see in all the trainings. People ask, in 1 month's time, how do you work this miracle? I think one reason is youth come with a lot of motivation, one. Then other motivated youth groom them, sit with them, work with them, because the previous year's committed volunteers become their trainers.
Thank you, Dr. Edward, for the beautiful sharing. As you said, young people come with a lot of motivation, mainly because the previous batch of full-timers groomed them. So there is a beautiful way in which the torch is being passed to the next generation. So any one of you listening to me now, inspired to answer a similar call, do get in touch with us. So that's it for today, friends. Let's keep each other in prayer and stay crazy for God until we meet again next week for the same program on Shalom World. Thank you.
For over 25 years, young men and women have set out across borders to share God's love.
Side, whatever you plan, whatever you do,
give your best to God.
But who are ready to give Him everything?
It is a gift to the Catholic Church.
Your only true identity is that you are the children of God.
I've actually gained an eternal treasure.
Don't be afraid to do these things.
Dare to follow an extraordinary call.
Now it's your turn. If you are a young student or professional and dare to set apart in year, it could change the lives of many, including yours. Be an international Jesus Youth Mission volunteer. Contact us right away.
Are you looking for life-changing entertainment? Does what you see on most channels leave you feeling unfulfilled? Well, look no further. Shalom World TV brings the peace and joy of Jesus Christ to you, whether at home or on the go. To start watching, you don't need antennas, cable connections, or a dish. You probably already have what you need if you have a smart TV, such as a Samsung, LG, or Panasonic, or if you have one with an Android, Opera, or Roku TV operating system. These can be found on the latest models of Sony, Toshiba, Vizio, Philips, RCA, Sharp Aquos, TCL, Insignia, Element, Hitachi, Vestal, Skyworth, Changhong, Konka, and Hisense. You can also watch Shalom TV on most IPTV streaming devices, starting with the 4th generation of Apple TV and Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Mi Box, Amino, Humax, or on TiVo Box through the Opera TV store. Are you a gamer or virtual reality enthusiast? We've got you covered. Shalom World is on Xbox One, Razer Forge, NVIDIA Shield, and HoloLens. To start watching, all you have to do is go to the App Store, download Shalom World, and start being fulfilled by content that brings you into a deeper relationship with Jesus Christ. For more information on how to watch Shalom World on your TVs and devices, visit us at shalomworld.org/connectedtv. Have a smartphone or tablet? Take Shalom with you wherever you go. Again, by downloading Shalom World from the App Store. If you prefer to watch from your Mac or PC, get the Shalom World desktop app. Or you can always watch from our website, shalomworld.org. And guess what? Shalom World is absolutely free on all of these platforms. Yes, free. There are no download charges and no in-store app purchases required, ever. If you're looking for life-changing entertainment, you found it. It's here, waiting for you on your Shalom World.